Cabinet Minister Sir Paul Barone, threatened by anonymous letters, consults Adam Dalgleish. Later that day, Diana Travers, an out-of-work actress who was working for Barone, is drowned at a Thames bathing party. Although he later denies to Dalgleish that he was there, Barone was being watched and followed. His wife Barbara and her lover Stephen Lampert bring the news that she is to have a child. But who is the father? Barone talks to his mother, Lady Ursula, and confides in her that he has had a religious conversion. He goes to a church where he intends to spend the night.
Roger! Oh, did make me jump, Hassan. Oh, you do remind me of my brother. He was just like you, afraid of nothing, full of energy. Eh? He was an airman during the last war.
Where is he now, then?
Oh, his plane was shot down over Germany. He was a rear gunner, tail end Charlie.
That his name?
No, that's what they're called, rear gunners. It would be a good, quick way to die, wouldn't it? That's my comfort. School, Darren?
Not getting any quarter to yet. At any rate, it's prayers first. I'm better off in a proper church like this, you know, with candles and that. It's already open.
Darren, be quiet. Father Barnes is here. What have you done?
Miss what? The allowance.
Darren? Darren?
What?
Darren?
Yeah? Right.
Get help. Go to the vicarage, fetch Father Barnes, I'll wait here.
You can't wait here.
Seems wrong to leave them, both of us.
That's stupid. You can't do anything. They're dead. Stiff. Suppose he's still here, right? Down here somewhere, waiting us and watching.
Don't.
You come with me, okay? If you think so. That's what I think. Now, come on. quick.
The Lord's pleasure, pleasure, Lord.
Fingerprints and photography are on their way.
Uh-huh.
Now, the lab's sending over the senior pathologist. She'll meet us there.
What about Kynaston?
Well, he flew in from the States to Heathrow 2 hours ago, but we can't find him. Must be stuck on the motorway.
We'll keep on trying, won't we?
The pathologist is available now, sir.
No, I want Kynaston. This vicar, Father Bar... Was it a Catholic church?
No, Anglo-Catholic, very high Anglican. I am sorry, by the way. About your friend.
Do you know the fastest route to the church?
Sir.
Take it.
Good morning, sir. Inspector Glyn Morgan.
Good morning. Thank you, mister.
How do you do, Inspector? Now, this way, sir. The bodies are in a room they call the Little Vestry, sir. Senior crime officers here, sir. Yes, sir.
Good. You can get ready. Who found them?
Miss Wharton, sir. Church worker. And a young boy. 8:45 as near as damn it.
Were the lights on?
Not on the stairs. These were, they say.
Where's this lead to?
Oh, it's blocked up, sir. Hasn't been used for years.
What about the telephone? Anyone touched it?
No, sir. It was off the hook.
Where are Miss Wharton and the boy now?
Oh, up in the church, sir.
I don't see.
11. Father Barnes, who reported the deaths, is here too, sir.
I'll speak to them as soon as I can. We better contact the boy's parents, get him away from here as soon as possible.
Oh, I'll do that, sir. Inspector.
Gloves. All right. With this amount of blood, I'd ask whoever was with me, man or woman. One single slash across the throat. Apparently, yes, left to right. What did they say his name was?
I have it as Harry Maxer.
Anything known?
Nothing.
Three cuts? 2 tentative, a third severing the trachea. Right, what do you think?
Well, 2 tries before he could finish the job. It seems obvious. Murder, followed by suicide.
Hold on, look at his hand. If he'd held the razor firmly, which he'd have to inflict this much damage, surely you'd expect less blood on the palm.
All right. Choose this place. Was he religious? Certainly no comfort here.
Whatever he was looking for, I don't think it was comfort. See if there are any matches or a lighter in his pocket, will you?
No, sir.
I'll try his jacket. Set of keys. Wallet. Fountain pen. No matches, no lighter.
Not in this bag?
No, sir.
Bring me his fountain pen.
Yes.
Thank you. Something looks to have been blotted here recently. Well, it's soaking. Someone's washed themselves in here and used it to dry on.
Why not use Paul's towel next door?
Which is dry, yes?
Yes.
Well, if it was the killer, he'd hardly want to come back for it. Too much blood, too much risk of leaving a clue. Better to use what he found to hand here.
Harry Max, I guess.
Oh, really? Where's the rest of his stuff? Excuse me.
So they come in here.
Only the best?
My granddad used one like that.
Same cheese?
Yes.
Inspector, I want you to break the news to his family. It's 62 Camden Hill Square off Holland Park Avenue.
Yes, I know it.
Take a DC with you. When the news breaks, they're going to be pestered. They'll need protection.
And back here.
Yeah. There's a wife, a housekeeper, and an elderly mother, Lady Ursula Barone. Not an easy household. Be careful. Charlie?
Hello there.
It's all yours. The enamel mug, the tea towel, and the wash bag, they're all important. And the S-bend in the sink trap. Probability is the murderer washed himself here. And the vestry, I want you to concentrate on the blotter and the telephone. And what looks to be a diary and a newly struck match in the grate. In fact, the entire debris in the fireplace.
Right, sir. I'll see what I can find for you.
Sir,
Anyone here, Inspector?
still waiting on forensic.
Damn.
Miss Wharton's very shaken.
Well, is she up to making a clear statement?
I would say not.
Well, I'll speak to her briefly, then get a WPC to drive her home. Will there be anyone there?
I gather not. She lives alone.
Well, they get the WPC to make her a cup of tea and stay as long as necessary.
Yes, sir.
All I'm really interested at this stage is whether she or the boy entered the vestry.
Both adamant they did not, sir.
I'm told you must see me and that I can't wait.
Lady Barone,
I suppose it's something to do with my husband. What has he done?
I'm sorry to have to inform you that Sir Paul Barone was found dead this morning.
You've made a mistake.
I'm sorry, no.
Where?
St Matthew's Church, Paddington.
Paddington? How did he die?
There were wounds on his body, Lady Barone.
Did he shoot himself?
Another body was found beside your husband's.
Who?
A tramp. A man called Harry Mack.
My husband is dead, you tell me, in some Paddington church with a tramp. I can't believe any of this.
I'm very sorry.
A note? Did he leave a note?
We're not necessarily treating your husband's death as suicide, Lady Barone.
You mean the tramp killed him? Or are you saying that he killed the tramp?
Oh.
Good morning. I am Lady Ursula Barone.
Inspector Miskin.
She says Paul's dead.
I'm very, very sorry.
There is no doubt.
It must be a mistake.
There is no doubt.
How did my son die?
That's not yet known for sure, Lady Ursula.
There were wounds, she says.
By his own hand.
We can't yet say.
You won't tell us anything.
Sit down.
Oh, it's a mistake.
So you keep saying, sit down, leave this to me. Matty, bring me coffee. A large pot, strong. No milk. No, thank you. I need no help. Are you in charge of...
No, Commander Dalgleish. I'm afraid he'll be wanting to speak to you both later on today.
Well, I can't stay in this house all day, not now.
You are my son's widow. Try and behave as such.
Oh, yes, this is just what you were born for, isn't it? Old Mother Courage, nobility and suffering.
Barbara, you are in a state of shock, my dear.
Is that all for now?
Yes, thank you, Lady Brown.
It was the same when I heard of my elder son's death. Raging thirst. And a feeling of disgust that one should outlive one's children.
I thought I'd get him out of the church, sir. They're out here.
Have you got an address for him?
Finally, the first one he gave us didn't exist.
Right. Would you excuse me?
Hello. It was time we got you home. Your mum and dad will be worried.
Who are you then?
Commander Dalgleish.
You're the boss man around here.
Yeah, you could say that.
She never done it.
Miss Wharton, no one that. You're both in the clear.
That's all right then.
You fond of her, are you?
She wants looking after. And I keep an eye on her like.
Then it's lucky you were with her.
Turned me out proper. She called me down from doing a candle.
Tell me about the candle.
A candle for the BVM, the lady in blue. Miss Wharton, she always gives me 10p. That's all.
And you're quite sure you never went into that vestry?
I keep telling you, I was behind her all the time.
How'd you get on?
Quite interesting.
I want you to take the boy home. His name's Darren. He's keeping something back. Might be important, might not.
You don't need me here, sir.
Speak to his parents. He should be at school.
No.
How are we doing on Harry Mack?
We've been on to the Wayfarers' Refuge in Causeway Street. They give Harry his midday meal. He's well known there, a bit of a loner. He'd never sleep there. In fact, he always used to take his meals outside to eat. He couldn't bear anyone near him.
So it's hardly likely he knocked on the door and asked for a room to let him in. But he got it somehow.
Sir, kid's address?
Ask him.
Darren, is it?
Yeah?
I'm Inspector Miskin. Do you want to have a look at my car then? It's more better than that one. Come on.
Other bands? Commander Dalgleish. I won't keep you long. This must have been a dreadful shock for you.
I'm responsible. I shouldn't have given him a key. They'll say I'm to blame.
You're not responsible. You know that perfectly well. Did you know Sir Paul Barone? Was he a friend of yours?
I first met him 11 days ago, when he came to early mass. Last week, he came to an evensong.
Did he tell you who he was?
After the evensong, he said his name was Paul Barone. I'm afraid it didn't mean anything to me at the time. He didn't say he was an MP or a baronet. After he resigned, I knew, of course, it was in the papers and on the television.
When did you see him next?
Yesterday. He asked me if he could sleep the night in the little vestry. He made it sound such an ordinary request. I didn't like to ask why. He wasn't a man you could cross-question.
Tell me about Harry Mack.
Oh, a few months ago, he suddenly turned up and began sleeping in the south porch. We've all tried to help Harry. Parish council, too, but he's a little too fond of his drink. And he fights.
Do you think Sir Paul might have noticed him sheltering in the porch? Asked him in to share some food?
That could have happened. It was cold last night.
How many keys are there to the church?
3. Miss Wharton has 1, I have the other 2.
And the little vestry, what's it used for?
There are all my things for the services. I use it as an office sometimes. Parish council meets there each month.
The pathologist has arrived, sir.
Thank you, Inspector. And thank you, Father. I expect you want to get back to the vicarage.
No. I think I must stay here till all this is finished.
As you wish. We'll ask for a statement later.
I should telephone the dean or the archdeacon, shouldn't I?
Why do you remember so precisely that Paul Barone first came here 11 days ago?
At Mass, when he lifted his hands and I placed the wafer in his palms, I thought I saw. There were marks, wounds. I thought I saw stigmata.
You thought you saw the wounds of Christ on Paul Barone?
Yes.
On his palms?
On his wrists.
Have you told anyone about this?
Only you.
I think you should continue to say nothing. It's not relevant to his death.
I needed to speak about it, to share it. Now I've done so.
Inspector Morgan, this church is dimly lit. You could have imagined it. It could have been a trick of the light.
Yes?
Well, how did he look? I mean, different, changed?
Whatever it was I saw, if it was there, it didn't last long. A brief, powerful dream. And as you say, the light was very dim.
Inspector Morgan will arrange for you to use one of the phones from the car.
We fear to believe it.
Did you want to use the telephone, Father?
Thank you, yes.
Okay. So where's your mother?
In there.
So where do you sleep?
In there.
Just the two of you live here?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yes.
You thieve all this? Oh, matey. You are in trouble.
I would have come round anyway, even if you hadn't phoned. Not only as Barbara's cousin, but as an old friend of both your sons.
My son has been murdered. The police will know it soon, if they don't already.
Oh, forgive me, but can you be sure?
Paul might have been capable of killing himself. Most people are given sufficient pain, but he could never have killed that man, that tramp that they talk about. Never, 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 never. That means some other person murdered them both. And there are facts that the police will now make it their business to discover.
What facts, Lady Ursula?
I may be crippled, but I still have the use of my eyes and intellect. The fact that you and Barbara are lovers, for instance. The police intend to interview Barbara and me as soon as they finish doing whatever it is they're doing at the church. And in time, they'll get round to you.
I don't see why I should be involved.
Stephen, do you imagine that there is anything in the life of a minister of the Crown not known to Special Branch? What sort of a world do you think we're living in?
What do you want of me?
You and Barbara must agree your story.
An alibi? You don't seriously think they'll suspect me of killing Paul because his wife happens to be my lover?
They may be interested in the fact that my son left instructions to withdraw his investment in your clinic.
How do you know?
That's not your concern.
He hadn't the time to do it.
You think not?
On the face of it, murder followed by suicide. The cuts are textbook. Two fairly superficial, both from left to right. One just above, swift and deep, severing the artery. And the razor neatly to hand. As I say, on the face of it, obvious. A bit too obvious.
Exactly.
One cut, though, again from left to right, which means that if Paul Barone killed him, he did it from behind.
So why isn't his shirt sleeve soaked with blood?
It is.
Yeah, but wouldn't you expect more blood if he cut Harry's throat?
Not if he rolled up his shirt sleeves first.
And rolled it down again before cutting his own? Unlikely.
So where do you think he was, if and when he was attacked?
Well, from the position of the body, I think he was probably sitting on the side of the bed.
No sign of any resistance.
He could have been taken by surprise.
You say you knew him, madam?
Yes. Mostly across a committee table, but I knew him. And I liked him.
Well, then you won't want to see him as a murderer or a suicide. Adam, I'm going to examine the bodies in some detail now.
Well, that won't disturb you.
No, but since he was a friend of yours, it might well disturb me.
You all right, Teresa?
I'm leaving tomorrow. Lady Ursula says she doesn't need me now.
Will you be coming back to the clinic?
I'm not sure, sir.
I made it perfectly plain when you left Pembroke Lodge to look after Lady Ursula that the appointment was only temporary. Your job with me is open whenever you want it. What is it, Teresa?
I can't stop crying. It's the shock.
I didn't realize you were so close to Sir Paul.
I'd come to look on him as a really good friend. I'm sorry. We used to talk at night when I'd settle Lady Ursula.
What did you talk about?
Oh, all sorts of things. They didn't like that.
Who?
The rest of them. Anyway, Lady Ursula says she's got more important things on her mind than her own health, so that's that.
But did you used to talk about your work at the clinic?
A bit.
Look, why don't you take a few days off? We'd expect you back at the clinic next week. Monday morning. Bye.
Who was that leaving?
Mr. Lampard.
Is that policeman still outside?
I don't know. Miss Matlock, is there anything I can do to help?
Yes. You can keep out of the way. This is our grief, not yours.
Come in.
Why did you send for Stephen? I don't want him involved.
You can't avoid it. My son's death has started a process we have to live through, like it or not.
Stephen said you knew about us.
Yes.
And about the crazy idea to take the investment out of the clinic.
Yes.
Paul left everything to me. This house, everything. It's all mine. Well, nearly all. So I can do what I like. Did you know he was planning to sell the house?
Yes.
So the house is safe. It must be something to set against your grief.
Paul is my son. Was my son your husband? I insist that you respect his memory.
I'm pregnant with a boy. Your grandson. The Barone heir.
Yes, I know that too.
Just remember, the future is here. It's me. We all have something to gain from Paul's death. I suggest we protect each other.
Charlie, what do you think?
Well, the diary's quite interesting, sir.
Tell me.
He tore out the pages covering the last 2 months. And next year's calendar page is gone, too. It looks like he burned them and chucked the rest of the diary on the flames. The cover's only singed there.
Yeah?
Handmade.
They look as though they've been carefully scraped.
Not enough. Traces of mud on the sides as well as under the left heel. Real mud, not your London dirt.
What about the blotter?
Must have been there years. It would be like an archaeological dig sorting out that one.
It's these new marks in black. That's what interests me.
Well, the lab will soon tell us if the ink matches, no problem.
So if that's the blotter and we've got the pen, where's the paper that was written on? Burnt?
Could be, sir.
Yeah, but you wouldn't write something, take all the trouble to blot it carefully, then burn it in the grate, would you?
I wouldn't. Somebody else might, particularly if they didn't like what I'd written.
We're finished here, son. And we'll remove the bodies.
Charlie?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Wait, he's housekeeper, so I
It's
know.
all right, Mrs. McBride, I'll take that.
You're good enough. It's me, the parish priest, to look after Father Barnes. Please step aside. What right are you then to get in like that?
Detective Inspector.
You never are.
Just a minute.
Terrible thing for the
Father Barnes.
Up with the choir stall, Inspector.
Right, he's in the choir store, Mrs. McBride. Go along with you.
First autumn day after tomorrow, madam. What? I know. It's the best I can do.
Condemn the separatist stand as weak and unrealistic. Within the last half hour, it's been confirmed that one of 2 bodies discovered earlier this morning in St. Matthew's Church, Paddington, in West London, is that of Sir Paul Barone, whose resignation last week from politics caused surprise and speculation in Westminster. Until his unexpected decision to apply for the stewardship of the Chiltern Hundreds, the accepted form of resignation from government for personal reasons of ill health or family commitment, Sir Paul Barone had risen swiftly within the Conservative Party to a junior ministerial position in the Home Office.
Come in.
Commander Dalgleish and Miss Miskin.
Lady Ursula, this is Mr. Dalgleish.
Afternoon.
Won't you sit down, Commander?
Thank you.
Thank you, anyway, for not burdening me with your condolences.
I knew your son, Lady Ursula, and I liked him.
How did he die?
His throat was cut. The tramp with him died the same way.
But how did he die?
An open razor was found close to him.
It was one of my son's affectations to continue to use an open razor. The pair were a gift to him from his father on his 60th.
There are questions I do need to ask, Lady Ursula. If you would rather, I could come back later.
Two of your questions I can anticipate. I have no reason to believe that my son intended to take his own life. And he had, to my knowledge, no personal enemies.
Tell me, did he ever talk to you about his faith?
No. No. He would not expect me to sympathize. I have never been a religious woman, though I accept there are people who have need of a faith, a need to find some meaning in existence. To me, that has always been a fruitless quest.
Did your son find it fruitless?
I can't answer that, Commander. But surely it had nothing to do with his death.
Well, when a man changes the whole direction of his life and is dead, possibly murdered within a week, then it has to be relevant, at least to our investigation.
Relevant? Yes, I've no doubt relevant to that. No, I'm sure that there will be few privacies in this family that will not be relevant to your investigation, Commander.
Could you very kindly confirm that this is your son's diary?
Yes, yes. But it's unimportant, surely. It's merely a record of engagements.
Odd that he should wish to burn it, then, as you see. Can you recall where you last saw it?
No, I'm afraid that is the kind of question, detail, that it is impossible for me to remember, Commander. Is there anything else? If it has no more urgent relevance than the questions you've asked so far, perhaps it could wait until you're certain that what you're investigating is murder.
Well, we know that already. The tramp, Harry Mack. He was murdered. I won't trouble you any more at the moment. I would now like to see your daughter-in-law, please.
You may find Lady Barone somewhat less distressed than you would expect. That is because she has no imagination. What her eyes do not actually see, she finds difficult to imagine. I say this merely in justice to you both.
Was she greatly upset at Diana Travers' death?
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Diana Travers had nothing to do with us.
But she worked here, and Lady Barone was
Yes,
present.
she worked here merely for a few weeks. She was an unemployed actress doing domestic work while she was resting, I think is the euphemism they use. It was hardly a matter that would engage my attention, and indeed it did not.
I've been trying to get hold of you all morning.
I heard it on lunchtime news. Can we go somewhere?
Yeah, through here. Grandmother phoned the college to pull me out of a lecture. So where have you been?
It's all right, Sarah. I'm here now.
Ivor, she doesn't think my father killed himself.
Naturally. Barone's meant to put on uniforms and kill other people.
No, don't talk like that. Not now. The police don't think it's suicide either.
How do you know? Have they seen you yet?
No, Grandmother told me. Apparently they wanted to see me, but I told them that I was lecturing all day and it was impossible.
And are you lecturing all day?
No.
Well, Sarah, they only need to look at the timetable. Never lie to the police if they can check.
But I had to speak to you first. I mean, how could I talk to them until we'd worked out what to say? He's dead, Ivor. My father's dead.
Sarah, come on, it's going to be all right. It's okay.
I've got to go and see Grandma.
Look, just remember why you cut yourself off from your family. Don't go running back like a frightened child.
He was my father. I loved him once.
Yes, that's brilliant.
I need to be told that it's not my fault.
It's not your fault.
I've been out. I couldn't stay cooped up here all day until you decided to come. Lady Barone, this is Commander Dalglish. Yes.
How do you do?
You'd better come up to the sitting room.
Thank you. Would you excuse us? We'll be with you in a few minutes. I'm sorry for any inconvenience, Lady Barone.
I really don't know how I can be of any use. Paul didn't have enemies, not personal enemies. Maybe political ones, but I didn't know much about that.
When did you last see him?
He came to see me yesterday morning, just before Mattie brought my breakfast.
What time was that?
I don't know, 9:15. You'll have to ask her.
Did he stay long?
No.
How did he seem?
His usual self.
Did he tell you how he proposed to spend the day?
Well, I know he was going to see an estate agent.
Would you know which one?
God presumably told him to sell the house, but I doubt he actually specified the agent.
And so the house will remain in the Barone family, eh?
Yes, of course it will. It comes to me. What else should happen to it? What's this got to do with you anyway?
It's an unfortunate fact about murder that we do have to intrude into people's grief.
I imagine Paul killed himself.
Why should you think that?
Well, he'd been in a disturbed state for some time. He'd made a mess of his second career as he had of his first.
Did he discuss his work with you?
He didn't discuss anything with me.
He was receiving anonymous letters. Did you know that?
No.
They were hurtful to him.
Did they involve me?
Well, they involved everyone close to him. He'd showed them to me. Part of his concern was to protect you.
It's so ridiculous. Mystical experiences and then dying in a church with some tramp. Did you like him?
Very much. I also admired him.
You admired him?
To get out of politics because he felt he was compromising his standards, that took a great deal of courage.
Oh, yes, his standards. I know all about those. I was married to him.
Listen, we were together for the whole of yesterday evening, from 6 when I called in on my way from work, and we stayed together all night. We even ate at your place, right? Now get that into your mind, that's what happened.
Right, okay, then that's what I'll tell them.
I'll be there, I'll tell them. Now we can go over the details of the story tonight. I'll come around about 8. Okay?
He came in here just before 10 to collect some food for a picnic lunch. He knew where things were kept, so he helped himself. Half a loaf, some cheese, 2 apples. He didn't say where he was going or when he'd be back.
Was it usual for him to stay out all night without telling anyone?
It's not my business what the family choose to do. He could have been staying in the constituency.
Do you know where he normally kept his diary?
In his desk in the study.
How many people would have had access to it?
Access? The study is part of a private house. We don't keep it locked. All the family and their friends have what you call access.
Where did you spend yesterday evening?
Here, or in my room. Mr. Dominic Swain came round for a meal and a bath.
Dominic Swain?
Lady Barone's brother. Afterwards, we played Scrabble.
Does he often come to this house for a bath?
And the flat he shares only has a shower, and that's in the toilet. He came round last night to see Lady Barone, but she was out.
What time was that?
He came before 7 and left before 11. You can confirm that. The neighbours were garaging their car when I locked up after him.
And where did he bath?
Upstairs, in the main bathroom.
So you were either in your own room or in the kitchen, and Mr. Swain was upstairs for at least part of the evening. Did he speak to Lady Ursula?
No, not to my knowledge.
The back door, was it locked?
And bolted. It always is after tea. Look, all these questions. Anybody'd think that Sir Paul had been murdered.
Well, it is possible he was murdered.
I thought...
What?
I don't feel well. I don't want to be badgered. I thought he might have committed suicide.
Thank you. You've been very helpful. I don't think you really believe we've been badgering you, do you? We shall have to ask more questions, but it needn't be now. Thank you. We can see ourselves out.
Nobody sees themselves out of this house. It's my job.
She's not telling everything she knows.
Get on to CRO, see what they got. Her father, Percy Matlock, was convicted of murder. Killed himself in prison.
Ah.
It's interesting Lady Barone gets the house. You'd expect a place like that to be entailed.
What does that mean?
It passes automatically from heir to heir. Can't be sold out of the family.
Oh, lucky old Barbara.
Don't dismiss her grief out of hand.
What do you think you're doing?
Just washing up Lady Ursula's lunch things.
Get out of my kitchen.
I want to help.
Keep out. I've warned you.
I want to help for his sake.
His sake? Oh, yes. Do you know what we call you here? The holy hypocrite.
Why do you hate me?
You wormed your way into this house.
I didn't.
Late night chats. Your little secret smiles.
What are you talking about?
You and him, holy hypocrite.
He liked to talk to me.
Won't get round me or anybody else here. Why don't you get out? You're not wanted here. Leave us alone.
You should be put away. Miss Matlock.
This is my kitchen. Get out.